today I challenged myself to draw Superman 4 times, each one faster than the last, from 100 minutes all the way down to just 10 seconds. Let's start with the full version where I had all the time in the world. Well, almost. Alright, the 100-minute drawing timer officially begins now. That's 1 hour and 40 minutes. I'm starting my sketch with a blue brush. I prefer sketching in blue because it clearly shows me where I already inked and where I still need to when I'm working on the line art. First, I'll establish the basic pose, aiming for a dynamic floating Superman in the sky. I made it a bit smaller so you could see the fit. I got the general pose I like, so I go around just adding tweaks here and there. While I'm doing all this, I have a few references of the new Superman movie, so I can recreate some of the details in the costume. I noticed the head was a bit too big, so I shrinked it like that Beetlejuice guy. Well, not that much. Then I had to sketch the S in the chest, and that's super important, like there's no S, there's no Superman. Did you notice the S is so, I don't know, angular and simple now? A lot of people are liking it and some others aren't. I'm still not super sure if I like it or not, but I think it's cool that each time there's a major movie, everyone can get creative with the costume. Did you know the Superman iconic S isn't just a letter? In Kryptonian, it means hope. Now I started to work on the face. I had a reference of the actor, which is David Corenswet. I use it mainly to get the vibes because, who am I kidding, my style is not that realistic, but at least I tried to avoid doing it like a chibi anime cartoon. Now I go and tweak the S a bit. And thank God the new costume does not have the ab muscles too visible because that would have been a pain to draw. There's a yellow belt in this version and I also add some detail to the boots. I struggle a bit when drawing the hands, but I think they turned out okay at the end. One of the goals of making this a drawing channel is also improving in my techniques, so hopefully in the future I will be fast and steady when drawing hands, and we could all look back to this video and say, haha, look at her, she even had to delete the whole hand and then move things around a lot of times just to get it right. But hey, this counts as practice. Once I'm satisfied with the hands, I can continue tweaking the rest. I'm not used to drawing big, muscular guys. It took me a few tries to get his legs thick enough and his muscles looking the right size. Pro tip, sometimes you're working on small details or spending a lot of time in the same area, very focused on the same spot, and you really need to take a step back and see the whole picture. It may help with spotting what looks weird or what looks good with the rest of the piece. Aiming for a 30 to 40 minute sketching session, I picked up a black brush to begin inking, directly tracing my initial sketch. This version took me 100 minutes and it gave me the space to add real detail, shading, lighting, and even a nice blue sky background. Since we got time to enjoy it and inking is a very smooth process, here are some fun facts about the Man of Steel. Did you know Superman first appeared in Action Comics #1, published in 1938, making him one of the oldest superheroes ever? He was created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, two teenagers from Cleveland who sold the rights for just $130. Can you imagine? Makes me think of the guy who threw away his whole computer with crypto, not knowing it will blow up years later. His original powers were much more limited. He couldn't fly. He could only leap tall buildings in a single bound. Flight was actually added later in the 1940s cartoon because animators found it easier to animate than jumping. Christopher Reeve's performance in the 1978 Superman film is still considered one of the most iconic portrayals of any superhero. Superman once lifted a book with infinite pages in the comic. Yeah, comic book physics. In some timelines, Superman can survive the core of a sun, hold black holes in his hands, or even hear a cry for help across galaxies. He gets his powers from Earth's yellow sun. On Krypton, he was just a regular guy. And look at that, I finished the line art, so we can go ahead and start coloring. I think coloring is my favorite part, but I also enjoy sketching a lot. I think line art is my least favorite because it's just following what you already did. So I start by adding the base colors on every part. separating stuff by layers, like doing the skin on one layer, the hair in another, then the blue, the red in a different one. So when I'm doing shadows and highlights, it's easier just to lock that layer to avoid spilling out. Sometimes I like to do a thin line between the highlight and the shadow with a more saturated skin color. It helps to add a warmth, like the subject is being illuminated by the sun. Then I add the shadows for the hair, and in this case I'm not doing like a very bold highlight, just a big soft brush to let you know where the light is coming from. Then I go to the blue part, adding a very soft shadow at first and then doing a darker one. And you know, I like the bright colors they use this time because I think in a lot of the new superhero movies they tend to go for a dark, gritty, realistic look, and the colors are sometimes very muted, very dark and muddy. I mean, it's okay to have those too, but I think when there's a lot of movies that do that, it's a refreshing take to see bright colors. By this point I also added some highlights and then start going to the details. I like to take a thin brush and then do some strokes here and there, some of those like very small parallel lines that to me feel like fabric, and also make it look a bit more complex, like not so simple. It's a stylistic choice that is easy to do and also looks cool. So wrapping up with the blue, we get to the red shorts that he's wearing this time, and also to the boots because it's the same tone, and those two are on the same layer because they are on the front. Shading the feet is a bit tricky too, but I think it looks okay. I go back to the shorts to give it a bit more detail, and then you will see here why I had the cape in a different layer than the shorts and the boots, even if both were red. This way I can just paint the darker red of the cape behind without smudging any of the red of the boots or shorts. Painting the cape was fun. I actually grabbed some of the oil painting brushes from Clip Studio Paint and was very liberal with smudging it and just experimenting what looked good, and I actually got something that I think looks great. I took a big smooth brush and added some warmth to the skin. And oh my god, I looked and almost forgot to detail the S, and I only had 10 minutes left on the timer. At this point I also noticed the belt, and it looks like I completely forgot the yellow parts of this drawing. With 7 minutes on the timer, I think I still have time to do a bit of a background, and since Superman is flying, I thought doing a cloudy sky was a good choice. And I think clouds are fun to do with smooth brushes. You just have to go for round fluffy shapes, a bit of light, a bit of darkness underneath, and then a touch of warmth to make them pop. I'm actually pretty happy with what I got to do in the time frame. I also got the chance to do a bit of a vignette to give it a cinematic feeling and smoothed a few details in the last couple seconds. So here you have it, my version of the Man of Steel, all handsome, full of color, details and fluffy clouds. I even think this could be a cool wallpaper. Now let's speed things up. Next up is the 10-minute version, rougher, faster lines and zero time for background. Let's see how close can I get to the original in just 10 minutes. I plan to do 3 minutes for each stage, sketching, line art and then coloring. But oh boy, was I not prepared for how fast those 3 minutes were gonna go. I had an eye on my workspace and another one on the timer, and at this point I'm already panicking because it's already minute 7 and I hadn't even sketched the face, so I guess it's time to work on the line art. Forget about doing pretty sketches. At this point I'm seeing that doing the line art for the whole thing is going to be a challenge too, so I rushed things up and noticed that I hadn't even sketched the S on the chest. I'm telling you guys, I was not prepared for how fast this was gonna be. I basically make peace with all the lines being wonky because I will not have the time to take it slow and make it pretty. Hey, but do you see the hands? The hands look good. At least that's a thing that came out alright. And then we reached 3 minutes. and I go in a panic of coloring and noticing there's a lot of gaps between the liners, so the colors go everywhere when I'm trying to bucket fill. Okay, and we have 2 minutes left and I'm rushing and I hadn't even painted the face and I hadn't even painted the color of the hair. Oh my god! Silly past me. I thought I was gonna be able to do some shading. And of course, I only got some smudges here and there. With 30 seconds on the clock, I started to smudge something for the cape. And I even did some strokes after the clock had got to 0. But I did this on a live stream and one of my friends kindly pointed out that I had overstepped. So here you have it. This is my 10-minute Superman. It's horrible, hideous. It's like, I don't even want to look at it. But at least it looks like a Superman, right? You can sort of recognize him. We can go ahead and compare the two that I already did. You can see one is handsome and the other is ugly. Fresh and hydrated, awful hangover. Yay and nay. You get the point. And if the last one was hard, next one was ridiculous. 1 minute. That's it. Just enough time to panic and hope muscle memory kicks in. You can already see the proportions falling apart, but I'm holding on. There was no time to sketch this time, so I went ahead and grabbed my inking brush. Since other times I was struggling with leaving the face for last, I tried to do the face first, but then I noticed my time was running out, so I said, hey, maybe I should do the body. And I got to say, this drawing here is not sped up, so this is real time. This is me struggling in real time. No effects added, just pure panic and just watching how my time slips away. And this is honestly embarrassing. I mean, what is this? What is this? This is not me. I swear I know how to draw. I'm better than this. So there you have it, just like in the comics. I don't even want to make a comparison. I just don't want to look at it anymore. And now, 10 seconds. Basically a scribble with confidence. And I wasted like 2 seconds just thinking what I was gonna do. And when I looked at the timer, it was over. So I hated this one and I took it as a first failed attempt. So let's just ignore its existence and let's try again. Okay, so 10 seconds on the clock again. And we started by doing the head and then the body. What was that? The new body, and then the S, and then the legs, and then the cape, and then the hands and the face, and that's all I get. Really, that's all I get. It's impossible. It's not possible. This is too hard. So there you have it. Superman drawn 4 times, from detailed to derailed. Which version do you like the best? Wanna watch another art challenge? How about drawing all first gen 151 Pokemon from memory? See you there!